Hey guys, it's Simon from redlinemotorsport.co.uk. Today we have ACC. This is the first race of our championship, so we're at Monza. I'm going to be live commentating with Reese and Louis. So say hello guys, introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Reese.
Oh mate, I'm Louis.
How's it going guys? Right, so anyway, we've got 6 minutes of practice left, 30 minutes of qualifying, and then it's a 60-minute race. At the moment we have, I believe it's 25 people in here at the moment. Yeah, 25 people at the moment. I mean, we were supposed to have 30, but due to the hot weather that people are getting in the EU at the moment, like 40 degrees plus, some of them just can't even bear to race, especially in VR. So I can't blame them, to be honest. So anyway, yeah, so as I said, we've got 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes of practice left. So let's have a quick look. Right, so Albert's managed P1 at the moment. He's managed 1:47.8. That's his fastest lap so far, so that's pretty quick. Still, the track conditions now is fast. Track temperature is at 37 degrees. We've got P2, Willem. He's in the AMG. He's managed 1:48.5. So we go to the table of results a second. We can see that Albert's managed a lead of 6/10 so far. And then relative to that is Jose, who's in the Lambo, who's 7/10 in P3 behind P1. So, who's your favourite guys, Reese, Louis, to obviously take the win today?
Vicky.
Sorry, Vicky's the one you're going to say that is going to take P1 today. That's
Paul through.
So that's interesting because Vicky's in the BMW M6, so that would be very interesting to see.
I reckon it's straight line. It'll be top dollar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has got the power there. I don't know if anyone's actually in the Bentley in this one.
Is there no Bentleys? What about Astons?
Yeah, we've got an Aston in here.
Have we got an Aston? It's in the
Aston. There was an Aston in here.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah.
I think we have some stream issues at the moment. People in chat saying no gameplay showing.
No gameplay showing? What?
No, it's saying we have an error 5000 code.
Error 5000 code? Why is that?
Just having
Oh, this is a good start, isn't it? Alright guys, let me just see if we can rectify this. I don't know why we're getting an error code, because it's showing as, it's all showing my end. 10,000
Take
bit
two,
rate.
lads. That's why we weren't speaking, because we couldn't see shit. 1, 2.
Language.
Yeah, we have no audio or we have no stream audio as well.
There's no stream
like
audio.
literally nothing. It says live but like offline at the same time. This video is unavailable. Error
Yeah,
code 5000.
Well, that's weird.
Just stop streaming. Stop streaming, restream. Or like close it down, I guess.
Yeah, alright, I'll try again, guys. Great job, yeah, thanks. I don't understand because it's showing it's live. Everything should be showing.
Exactly.
It's showing as live. The notification is showing as live. They are.
Take two, lads. Take two.
Right, take two. Try again. Right, are we live now? Let me just check Twitch, because you guys just check Twitch a sec, see what's going on. Because this is just
See, it's
silly.
live. Oh, no.
Are we not live again still?
Sticky one. Still getting the error of the 5000.
Oh, why are we getting an error?
What you done? What you done, Simon?
I've not done anything, so I don't understand why we're getting an error. If people are seeing this, enter the code. Oh. What is it with me and streams?
I think we're cursed. Okay, so on my phone I can I can hear, but I have no gameplay.
Right, so they can see on YouTube, but they can't see on Twitch for some reason. I don't understand why.
Okay. Is there something to do with your OBS and it not detecting? Perhaps.
No,
Oh, hang on.
OBS.
Okay. I refreshed and I have gameplay. So for the guys in chat, if you're on Chrome at least, try refreshing.
Right, so
A
Chrome's
couple of
causing the
times,
issue,
and
is
that
it?
has seemed to work for me. And on
Working
mobile
now.
as
Cool,
well.
thank you.
Yeah, make sure you refresh, guys. And
Yeah, as I say, because I've changed those settings in OBS or
should
anything.
come back.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway, we're
Yeah,
working
yeah.
now. Hey. Right,
Simon,
so
do you mind restarting the feed our end, because we have a couple of technical issues behind the stream in terms of quality.
yeah, we'll do.
Yeah,
thanks for the follow there, Unskill.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Right, do you mean let's do the stream on Discord? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Right, I'll just stream it without the volume. How's that for you guys?
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, well, at least that's got sorted before the qualifying starts anyway.
Just in the nick of time.
So you're using your laptop and PS4 to watch? Awesome. Right, so just bring up the times quickly so you guys can see what's going on here, as you didn't get to see it a minute ago. So we've got Albert at the moment, who's in P1, leading with the Ferrari. We've got Willem, who's P2, he's leading in with the Mercedes. And then we've got Jose in P3, leading with the Lambo. So at the moment the times are quite relative. So Williams managed to get down to 1/10 off of P1. So there is chances is come to qualifying, William might end up getting P1.
Yeah, I reckon
Jose's
the top lot will be fucking tight.
yeah, exactly. And Jose, he's 7/10 off. But at the moment, if you look down at P17 there, you've got Samir in the Porsche. And he's one of our favourites at the moment because he does really well in the qualifying, and his pace is absolutely outstanding throughout the other races we've done so far.
Hopefully
right.
Vicky does pull through though.
Yeah. Well, Vicky's P7 at the
It's
moment
only-
in the BM.
At the moment, it's only free practice.
Right, guys, can someone just check Twitch again to make sure? Because some people are saying that they've restarted and nothing. So I don't know if it is just a Chrome issue or whatnot.
We are running on our end. I'm running. That's what I'm watching the stream on, because Discord is a bit dodgy.
Right, okay.
Chrome seems to be a little bit hit and miss.
It works you alright, thanks.
I think it would just, yeah, it's just kicking in for some people. It might take a bit.
Yeah, thanks for the subscribe there, IDK Dougie, thank you. Appreciate that.
Does anyone work together in this?
Sorry?
With slipstreams and all that?
Yeah, all works fine. I mean, the physics of the game is spot on. So yeah, you do get the slipstream and everything.
Sweet. So would people work together?
You're having issues with your stream being available. Right, so is it actually a Twitch issue or is it just a browser issue? Oh, I don't know what happens to these guys
I'm
here.
not sure. Every couple of refreshes, I do get a error code 5000. This video is unavailable.
Right, that's
mobile
interesting.
Seems to be working.
And now a crash.
I would say give it a restart. I would say. So.
What,
just
the
to clear it. The stream.
the stream?
Yeah.
So right, alright guys, I'm just going to restart again and just try again. I don't know what's going on with this stream at the moment. OBS my end's working fine. It's running fine on YouTube. But yeah, I'll just restart again. So just bear with us.
I think it's a plug-in issue. If you look at that. guide
What's-
there. That might help a little bit.
What guide?
Because I'm looking up the error code. I just put it in the Discord group.
A plugin issue, as in.
I'm not sure. Something to
It's
do.
called disable individual plugins. That you need to disable that plugin.
Yeah.
Called
I've got no-
disable individual plugins. It's weird.
Right, it's working here now. Right, okay, guys. Yeah, just bear with us. If it's all working now, brilliant. So maybe it was just a case of Twitch having a funny moment or something. 25 minutes. So right, yeah. So anyway, we're just over 27 minutes left of qualifying. So everyone's just getting their warm-up lap in, and then hopefully we should start seeing some in times prove.
I already see Vicky up there. It's brilliant. What times?
There'll be no set times I don't think at the moment because everyone's on the hot lap, like I said, a warm-up lap. So this should be the hot lap starting now. So we'll just jump to Kyle a sec. Looks like he's going to be... Nope. Well, he's messed up his hot lap, so he's going to have to go around again.
Pushing it a bit.
Yeah.
With these physics, Simon, is it very, like, passive with the throttle and stuff like that?
Yeah, you
Would
have to be
able
very...
to, like, spin the car with?
Yes, so yeah, so obviously TC and everything works properly how it should. You know, you'd be very very lucky to run with no TC, to be honest, in some of these cars. So
Is
yeah,
that hard?
yeah. Well, like I said, they're trying to make it like the real life cars. You know, I mean they run with TC for a reason. So unless you are feathering the throttle.
Compared to other sims, the cars can feel quite weighted. Compared to say Assetto Corsa 1 iRacing and things like that.
Yeah, and obviously with each patch that's coming out, the game's obviously getting, you know, all the little niggles sorted. So at the moment, it looks like Albert's managed to get a 147.5 in the Ferrari, so he's P1 at the moment.
Should only get quicker.
Yeah, Williams just managed to pick P2. He's just literally just come across the line as I speak there. So he's managed a 147.5. We'll just check the relative to that. So, I mean, that's literally 1,000th of a second off P1. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see who ends up getting P1 here. And we've got Tony in P3 at the moment, who's also in an AMG. So he's 6/10 down from P1.
Very close between the top two, yeah.
It sure is, yeah. So we've got Vicky here in the BMW. So we'll follow her for a bit. Actually, it looks like she's on a good lap at the moment. So her best time's a 148.3. She's currently P4.
Hopefully she'll get that Porsche slipstream.
Probably a bit too far away, isn't it? Yeah, a bit too far away for the slipstream there. Unless he makes a big mistake and she can use some of the other cars to her advantage. But still, a fairly quick time, 148.3. Well, she's now P5 at the moment, so looks like Samir in the Porsche. I'll quickly just jump over to Samir quickly. He's just managed a 147.9, so that's giving him P3 at the moment. I have to say, he's probably one of our favourites to end up getting a podium today.
It's definitely very quick times here.
Yeah, so I'm the main talker, me, Simon. Reese, if you want to say hello.
Hello, I'm Reese.
That's Reese. And then Louis.
Hello.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys can... yes, hopefully you guys can see who's talking here. So we've got three of us in the... who's commentating.
Going back to your question, Simon, for your favourites, just can we have a little reminder of who your favourite or one to watch would be?
Right, well, my favourites at the moment, from previous races that we've seen so far, Samir is, like I said, he's one of our top favourites. He usually ends up getting a P1 in the qualifying, but in previous races, in the test races we've done, he seems to make a big mistake on lap 1, starts at the back of the pack, and then he manages to somehow pull a podium come the end of the race. So he's definitely one to watch there. Next, well, Vicky's up to P3 now in the BMW, so I think she's going to be interesting for a podium as well. So we'll just jump over to Vicky a second again.
Very much so.
So she's in the BMW, so it's nice to see that she's managed to improve her lap time there. She's got 4 tenths off of her previous time. She had a 148.3. She's now down to a 147.9. Yeah, when we did a test race the other day, well, a few weeks ago now on Monza, you had Chris. Where is he to? So at the moment, he's P20. Oh, I don't know who that is there. Here we go, here's Chris. Missed out whoever that was in the Mercedes who just crashed in. But yeah, this is Chris. So he managed to get P1 last time at Monza. So again, he's one of the favourites to get a podium. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting battle because we've got some pretty fast guys already at the top of the tables. So if we look at the moment. So just to explain to you guys quickly, so with the livery numbers, we've got white and red. So we're running 2 divisions. So the white ones are pros and the amateur drivers are in red. So obviously they get separate points for each other. So basically I've labelled all the cars up. So the guys obviously amateurs will be red tags with amateur on the back of the cars. And obviously for the pros, you know, they have the white pro badge on the back. So, right, we'll stay with Chris for a bit because he hasn't got a fast lap in, and he's on a hot lap now by the looks of it. So we'll just jump on board and just see where he comes. Oh, big mistake, big mistake.
Lost it.
Does it? Yeah, by the looks of it, he's obviously got too aggressive setup for the qualifying. Obviously trying to get these fast times in, but the Lambo is definitely a handful there. So yeah, hopefully he manages to sort it out and get a lap time in because, like I said, he's one of the favourites to get a podium. We'll jump back to Samir.
I think it may be a case of a little bit too much throttle coming out of the first Lesmo because usually the Lamborghini Huracans are very good through the Lesmos here at Monza.
I was actually watching Jardia the other day. He was just racing the Lambo, and through the last Parabolica, he was gaining about 3 tenths off of second place. Just with the setup alone, I know it could do well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think here it is literally just down to setup there. So, it looks like Samir is on his hot lap now. Then by the looks of it, his best time was a 147.9. So he's P4. So he must be literally thousandths of a second off of Vicky. So
yes, just
so he's
hot lap.
Yeah, so he's just literally 1,000th off of the time off Vicky there. Nope. So I'm looking at it wrong. So yeah, sorry, 4,000th of a second.
That's
like nothing in it. No, it's not 5 tenths. It's less than a tenth, isn't it? Because it's thousandths.
No, between top 5.
Oh yeah, between top 5 at the moment. Yes, yeah.
5 tenths. That's ridiculous. That's
just over 4 tenths. That's what I mean. So the time is looking pretty good. I mean, to be honest, anything sort of like a 149 is a pretty fast time. So, and we can see here a lot of guys getting 147s, 148s, 149s, and then some of the amateurs are down to like the 152s by the looks of it. So, which is still pretty quick.
Definitely some very quick hams, especially Kufa in the BMW.
Yeah, exactly. So very interesting that they're obviously getting the speed on this track, but obviously we'll see how they progress through the championship. Because I mean, Monza is, you know, especially for like the cars like the Bentley, the BMW, you know, the AMG, they should be pretty fast at Monza with these straights. But it's the more twisty tracks like Brands Hatch that these cars are going to suffer.
I'm really surprised that the Porsche's done this well, though.
I agree.
Yeah, Samir seems to have a really aggressive... Yeah, Samir has a really aggressive setup. So if you watch him, you'll see the back end does like to slide out quite a bit. He likes to drift the car a bit. But he's he's got his setup very dialed in, that's for sure.
I bet that looks quality.
It sure does. We jump back with Albert Sek. He's holding P1 still, so he's 147.5. So he's 4 tenths faster than Samir, who's in P4. And again, almost 4 tenths faster than Vicky, who's in P3. So he's getting some very quick times in the Ferrari. Yeah, there sure is some quick times, definitely. So, like I said, we got some pretty fast.
By Sultan.
Yeah,
Sorry?
Sultan went even quicker still that lap with a 47.4.
4.
That is
Oh, wow.
Very quick.
So looking at that. So we'll say that look, Willem there is the Mercedes. He's now almost 1/10 down. So again, it's just literally trying to get those last tenths out of the car. You know, hopefully try and get some slipstream off the other cars to try and get, you know, to get these times up. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting so to see the runners at the moment. But just looking down the field, Chris Hokie still hasn't set time. He's in P4 at the moment at the bottom. Still hasn't set time, but like I said, he was one of our favourites because he got P1 in the test race at Monza a few weeks ago. So hopefully he gets to grip with his car and his setup, and hopefully he ends up getting on the podium. So we've got 16 minutes left to do that.
Just to note, the top two are still separated by less than a tenth. Caston really clinging on and wants that pole.
Yeah, absolutely crazy, isn't it? So we'll jump over to Tony here. So Tony's in the AMG. So his fastest time is a 147.9 P5. So what is interesting is we've got quite a variety of cars up, you know, as the top runners. You know, it isn't just a case of just one car dominating the leaderboard.
Very much a big variety, very quick pace
yeah.
from all.
So the reason why there's guys with just one name is because they didn't give me their last name when I was filling out the entry list. So literally when it says R dot, you know, it does make it a bit hard for us to quickly catch who's actually driving. But if you look at the bottom bottom right hand corner, you see their name there anyway.
Just for reference, R.E is raw authentic in the number 13. I believe it's Porsche.
Yeah, we'll just jump over to him there. So yeah, so this is one of the guys, R dot, so it's raw authentic. I'll try and get this rectified. I did ask these guys to give me full names, so obviously it all looked good on the leaderboard. But yeah, he's in the Porsche anyway, P25 at the moment. Hasn't set a time yet. So looks like we've now got 26 drivers in the race now, so that's quite good. So we're almost up to the 30 that we were supposed to have. So it looks like a few people are thinking, yeah, stuff, it might be 40 degrees, but I'm still going to slap my VR on and jump into racing. So let's just hope they have a nice
sim dedication.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they got a nice ice bath afterwards just to get rid of all that sweat. So, Mr. Curley, he's in the McLaren. He's managing a 153.5. So, I mean, this goes to show how quick the guys are in the pros. You know, they're 147s, you know, so almost 6 seconds faster. So it's pretty crazy. And to be honest, Curley's not exactly a slow guy. He's very consistent. So he's definitely going to get higher positions through the race, you know, as the faster guys make mistakes and stuff like that. So he's definitely one to watch to try and get a top 10 anyway.
I think definitely in the AM class, Curly's really one to watch. Who will just, because of his consistency, will just creep up the leaderboard as he does a 152.7 now, really improving each lap as it looks.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, so like I say, he could end up dominating the amateurs with his consistency. So, because to be honest, the McLaren's a very well balanced car with the tracks obviously we've got planned.
Very much.
So yeah, it should be interesting. So it might not be the quickest here at Monza, but in tracks like Brands Hatch and stuff like that, it will be a bit more competitive for sure. So I'll jump at Chris. So Chris has managed to get a time in now, 148.4. But he's P8 at the moment, so I'll just bring up the leaderboard so we can see how we're doing with the times. So Albert again is in P1, 147.4. William in P2, literally 1/10, just under 1/10 slower. Vicky's 4/10 off in the BM. Samir is 5/10, should I say, off P1. So I said they're all pretty close together there, aren't they? So it's going to be very interesting to see where these where everyone ends up.
Definitely. And also to note on the diversity of the cars, 6 out of the top 7 cars are all different manufacturers.
Yeah, exactly. You know, which makes it obviously great that, like I said, it's not just one manufacturer dominating the track.
No.
So Rafael, he's I'm sure he was leading the amateurs then. Yeah, so he is leading the amateurs. Yeah, so he's managed to 148.6. So very fast for the amateur league. So he should definitely be looking to move up to pro if he obviously continues and actually does well in this race. Like I said, some of the other amateurs, you know, are still sort of 149s down to like 153s, 152 actually for Curly.
We'll definitely have to see because qualifying is only one half of it, and we'll have to see if he keeps that lead.
Exactly, and you know, some of these guys will have some pretty fast. Oh, one guy's just come off the track there. I think that must have been James Butler in behind in the Porsche.
Indeed, that was.
So yeah, let's just see if they've obviously got their. Obviously, they'll be running different setups for the race anyway, so it shouldn't be as aggressive for the race setup. So especially if the track temperatures stay where they are, 38 degrees. So we'll jump in with Andre.
Oh, localised yellows at Ascari, cleared now. Maybe a potential off by someone.
Yeah. It's nice to see actually someone in a skyline there behind, so I couldn't catch who that was in the skyline. Oh, that's Christopher in the skyline.
Is Wolf Gruber in the 23?
Wolf Gruber, yeah. Yeah, we jump on board for him. So yeah, he's the only one in the skyline. I'm quite surprised because obviously throughout early access of ACC, you know, this was quite a popular car when this came about. So it's quite surprising to see that, yeah, it's not as popular now since the game's been released. But yeah, still nonetheless, still nice to obviously have the car here. But what I've noticed is, unfortunately, we've got no one actually racing in the Jag. So we've got pretty much every other manufacturer there, apart from the Jag, which is a bit of a shame because I mean I quite enjoyed that car in the early access.
I've got a soft spot for the Jaguar.
Yeah, appreciate the feedback, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so at the moment we have got a few guest drivers in, or some of the reserves are actually racing in this race today. So basically, just to let you know, what I've done at the moment is the low numbers from 1 to 30 are the people that are supposed to be in the championship. The ones with the higher numbers are just the guest drivers that are reserved, that are just covering for the guys that couldn't make it today. There was a few sign-outs, but still, we've still got 26 people in the race, so should be keep it interesting for sure.
Very much a packed grid.
Yep, got the Aston there in front.
I think especially going down into turn 1, into the first chicane for the start of the race, anyone in the top even 6 or 7 cars has a real shout of getting ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Should be interested. So, Serena's in the pits there. Tony. Go back to Jose. He's in the Lambo. So he was P1 earlier, but he's now P6, 148. I'll say 0.1 because it is close to 0.1. So it just goes to show how quick these guys are. It's very impressive. So literally down to P10, there's literally 1 second between them. I mean that's pretty crazy. So it's going to be a very interesting close race. So let's hope that everyone doesn't end up piling up in T1. So I will give them all a good briefing before the start of the race. So hopefully they remember to brake early, especially with the extra fuel load.
Really does show the pace of the drivers. Also to note that Kufa, leader of the AM class at the moment, is up into 8th position now overall.
That is absolutely crazy. So that's pretty good going. So yeah, Kufo, he's actually one of the reserves. I think he is actually down as a pro driver, actually, saying that. So actually the main guy who's actually leading is actually Freddie Kruger, who's in car number 19, who's in P14 at the moment. So he's actually the one who's actually leading his division in the championship, because as I said, Rafael is actually just a guest driver. But I don't understand why he's actually shown his amateur, considering his pace.
Ah, okay, that may give a reason. So the actual leader of is Freddy, is it? Freddy Krueger?
Yes, Freddy Krueger, yes. To answer your question, it's a 60-minute race. So weather will be pretty much like it is. It's basically just break the guys in, but obviously as we go through to countries that do get rain, then obviously they'll be a bit more challenging for him later on through the championship. So let's quickly jump back on with Chris to see how he's doing. So he's P9 at the moment.
Quite unexpected.
Hopefully he gets it to...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was just under a one. I think he got a high 147 in the previous Monza race. So hopefully he can improve that. So it looks like that was his warm-up lap. So hopefully he's going to catch traffic. So hopefully he can use it to his advantage and try and get some slipstream off the cars without him obviously slowing him down too much. If he can do that, then there you go. He's flashing to say, let me pass. I'm on my hot lap now. So hopefully he can try and claim back a few positions and have a better starting place in the race.
Most definitely, there might be a chance of him catching the Aston at some point in this on this lap, maybe even into the Lesmos or the Ascari.
Yeah, exactly. So
too much.
No, exactly. So you just see the Aston just there. So hopefully you can get a bit of slipstream off him off the back straight, and hopefully.
Unfortunately, without any hindrance.
Yeah. We should see. So we'll stay with him for a minute and hopefully he can get a better time.
Just noting all of the cars really using all of the runoff out of the second Lesmo.
Oh, they sure are.
I think that shows how committed everyone is on their qualifying laps.
Yeah, definitely. So he's taken advantage of the slipstream from the Aston there. So what I'll do, I'll just jump on board with him. So he's managed to pass the Aston. Let's see if he's actually off on his time. So now it's literally 1/10 slower that lap, unfortunately. So his best lap 148.4. I don't think he's going to get it on this one. No, the Audi's messed him up, so he ain't going to get the fast lap now, especially with 3 minutes. So it looks like he's going to be stuck in P10. So a bit of a shame, really, because. But to say that, I mean, his race consistency in the Monza race was spot on. You know, he led P1 all the way through the race, and obviously took it home. So we'll see how it goes. How many NSX are there in here? I believe there's 1 or 2.
I don't believe there's any more than 2.
Yeah, I think it might be 1. Unfortunately, I can't scroll up and down on the leaderboard. Yeah, I think there's only 1 NSX. There might be 2.
I think it's only Strelo.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Jose's managed to get P3. So he's taken P3 off of Vicky. So that leaves Vicky P4 and Samir in the Porsche and P5. So
shows how tight this top 5 is.
It sure is. So yeah, don't forget to obviously like and subscribe us on YouTube, and obviously follow us on Twitch. And obviously, if you've got any questions, obviously feel free to chat away in the Twitch chat, because obviously we're watching that and not the actual YouTube one, unfortunately.
Of course, I have the chat open. And I'm more than ready to help.
Yeah. So
questions.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, so Reese and Louis about as well to do that. So.
I believe Louis stepped away from commentary, as I got a message saying that he was stepping away, so it's just me and you. But if you
okay.
If you keep us up to date on the YouTube side, I can keep us up to date on the Twitch side.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Figured I've got so much going on in front of me to running the broadcast and stuff as well.
Oh, definitely. Before the end of the race, do you mind restarting the feed on my end?
Yes, I will do. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll quickly jump into the chat and just to give the guys a quick briefing before the start of the race.
Okay, great.
So. It's suddenly got a bit quiet, Reese.
I'm trying to get my Discord feed to work.
Ah, right, okay.
I'm having a couple of
technical issues, quite difficult to read
the lap time, so I have to resort to the watching the Twitch stream.
Ah, okay, no worries. Yeah, unfortunately Discord's a bit funny like that, but yeah. Right, so we've got 4 seconds left of qualifying, so just bear with us while I just jump into the voice chat with you guys.
Okay.
Good luck, everyone, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Right, welcome back. So we are back at the stream now. So I just gave the guys a bit of a briefing. So we've got 40 seconds left. And then, yeah, it should be the start of a race. So we've got a 60-minute race. And at the moment, it could be pretty much anyone's race.
Very much so, very tight between the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. It's absolutely madness.
And
So,
I'm predicting anyone from the top 7 with enough bravery into the first chicane can really make a move, and going into Curva Grande in the second chicane could come out leading.
yeah, very true. But like I said to him, hopefully don't be too aggressive at the start of the race, because obviously, like I said, it could be anyone's race. So there we are with the qualifying times. So Albert's taking P1, yeah. Williams taking P2 in the there we go. I just didn't get a chance to say that. So we start off in helicam for this one, but I'll just bring up the leaderboard. So there we are. So this is our grid at the moment. We've got 26 drivers in here. Unfortunately, I can't scroll up and down to show you the other twos. But we've got Dave Johnson P25 and Jake Boswell P26. So yeah, so Reese, who's your favourite to take the podium today, P1?
Ooh, I think it's very much a throw-up between at least the top 10, but I'm going to have to go with Caston. A lot of his performances that I have seen have been very strong, and I think he can really take it to the Ferrari into the first chicane.
Yeah, very interesting. I do have to agree there. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably going to hunt. We'll just start the race now. So I'm thinking Samir, who's in P3. I think he's one of our favourites there. So we'll just see how they go.
Good choice. We'll just have to see if he can hold it consistent and get through this.
Yeah, definitely. So they're just about to come up to the start line.
That tense moment, 2x2.
Green light, go, go, go.
That's it.
We're off.
We're off, yep. Look like Jose's in a Lambo there. He was trying to sneak up on the inside of William. Let's just hope he keeps his break-ins. Outbreaks.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe that was a bit of a bad move by Jose there. He outbraked Albert, but ended up getting a bit of contact and spinning out. So now he's actually lost a lot of position. So this is what I mean. You know, you can act really aggressive at the start, but then that's the end of his race sort of thing. He's now got to try and build that time up.
Almost definitely.
Exactly. But now it looks like William's got a really nice lead in front now, with Albert in seconds and Tony in P3, and then P4 Chris Hookey. He's is that right? Yeah. Chris Hookey's actually P5. Yeah, I was quite shocked there to see that. So he's managed to make up 5 positions then just from the start of the race. That's pretty impressive.
Shows how much of a throw-up that Monza can really be on the first lap.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll just change camera here so we can get a bit of a close-up with these guys. So Williams having a nice lead there already. So if he starts to break away, I mean, he could pretty much just end up taking the win here, because his consistency is absolutely spot on. And if he keeps that gap, he's got no worries about any pressure on the back. So
very much so, almost as predicted. The AMG absolutely stormed off because of the Lamborghini's dive down the middle. It checked up Sultan a little bit, which cost him some time on the Mercedes in front.
Exactly, that's it. So really that was a bit of a bad move by Jose. So if we just by the looks of that, Jose is actually retired. So yeah, that's what I mean. So literally just from lap 1 there, he was too aggressive in the T1, ended up spinning out, and that was his race over. So shame really. He should have just stayed where he was and then just and then sort of started putting the pressure on him and gaining the places. But unfortunately now he's had to retire. So that's not.
That shows you how. I think that shows you how cruel Monza can really be. It can really give and take away at the same time.
Exactly, that's it. So, like I said, it's nice as it is for people to be aggressive, you know, T1. At the same time, it just goes to show that when you start to go like 2 or 3 wide into turn 1 there, you know, you're asking for trouble.
Most definitely. Midfield pack looking very tight at the moment.
Yeah, just
however, in the manufacturers, the Mercedes really seem to stretch their legs in with Kasten and Rubieco in 1st and 3rd respectively.
That's it, yeah. So just on board with Samir at the moment. So you've got Vicky just behind NVIDIA in P6. And just behind Vicky, you've got Darius in the Porsche, trying to put the pressure on Vicky there. So we'll just jump and get a rear view from Vicky to see what's going on there. So Vicky's now managed to, if you see the speed she's getting now, you know, the Porsche's got slipstream off her, but the BM is just leaving them in the distance. So that just goes to show the speed.
Very good, especially.
Yeah. So, oh, got a bit of a dive bomb there. Bit of a dive bomb there. That's, yeah. So who was that in the Ferrari? Andre. So that was Andre in the Ferrari there with the dive bomb. So we'll be having words with him later. Yeah, exactly. So we were having words with him later to see what that was about. So we can jump back up to P2 a second, see where we are. So we've got William P1 in the AMG just in front of Albert. Albert's in the Ferrari P2. So we slowly closed the gap there. So it's not such a big gap as it was earlier on. You got Tony there. He's in the other AMG. And then you've got, just before the camera just disappeared, you've got Chris in the Lambo just behind him, P4. So we'll just have a quick look a bit further down the field. Oh, I don't know what's happened to Vicky, but she's now took some damage by the looks of it. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but she's just lost quite a few positions. She's now down to P12. So I don't know what's going on there. But then
I think that was partly to do with the turn 1 incident.
It possibly, but then she's got front end damage. She didn't have front end damage for that, did she? Which is interesting. But Andre's now obviously ahead of her, so it's been pretty interesting. So we've got Christopher. He's in the GTR, taking P11 at the moment. So he is actually P2 by the looks of it of the amateur class, and Freddie Kruger, who's in P7 overall, but P1 by the looks of it. For the amateur class. So we'll jump on board with Freddie for a bit. So Freddie's in the Porsche. Who said Vicky's a dude? Vicky isn't a dude. Nope, she's actually a 20, I believe she was like a 26-year-old German girl actually, from what she told me.
Just a quick question to you, Simon.
Yes.
Technically, is there any? Is there more than one spectator slot in the
yes.
Corsa server?
Yes, there's 2.
Okay, I may need some help joining that.
Right. Okay. Can you not? Is your stream a bit bad? Is it?
Yeah, we have some technical issues through Discord.
Right. Let me just send you the password for it. Right. So yeah, if you want to jump through the spectator, you can use that password there to jump in, and then yeah.
Okay, will do.
So yeah, Williams managed to open that gap again with Albert behind in the Ferrari.
Very much so, but it's only by a second. There is still a hint of a tow being a possibility for Sultan if he can just cling on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a bit of a bigger gap there between P2 and P3 Tony.
2.3 seconds. I think P4 and 5 in the Lamborghini and Porsche are really going to start snapping its heels very soon because he won't have the toe of the Ferrari to help him along.
Exactly, yeah. Just jump to Fabian. He's in the Lexus. So he's currently P9 in the overall position.
Lexus not really showing their strength at the moment in terms of overall pace.
No, but to be honest, when we did some races at Barcelona, the Lexus was pretty quick there. So, because Steve was driving.
I think the Lexus is a lot quicker through the corners, however, might be hindered very slightly through straight line speed or a downforce issue.
Again, yeah, it could be obviously down to setup. But yeah, the Lexus generally is quite a quick car in this series. So I'll just jump to Darius and see how he's doing. So we've got Darius P6, and just in front in the other Porsche is Samir. And P7, we've got Jerome, who's in the Audi, and then just behind him in another Porsche is actually Freddy Krueger. So again, Freddy Krueger is actually dominating the amateur division. So we'll jump back on with him for a second. So yeah, so he's
I know Freddie personally from experiences. He's a very hard racer and will give anyone a very good runner for his money.
Exactly, yeah. He's one of our regular drivers at Redline. So yeah, very pretty intensive driver to race with. Just jump back a bit. We've got oh, that's interesting. So it looks like Kyle White is has retired as well.
Another retiree.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. So I'm looking at my broadcast and I've got like two P13s and two P20s, and it's confusing me a bit when I'm trying to read out names. So we just jump back to P1 a second, see where we are here with P1. So it looks like Albert's putting the pressure on. He is closing the gap there, isn't he? Only 0.3 seconds behind. So I'll tell you what, we will jump on
the
board.
benefit of the toe going into parabolic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
this is very interesting. Yeah.
Stick. I think he's kept it clean and decided
you can hear the tyres. Yeah, you can hear the tyres absolutely screaming for grip there from the AMG.
Have to really keep an eye on this into the first chicane, as he's got a very good toe, really right under his rear wing.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is going to be very interesting. You just see him just come past there. Has he got enough to do it? Yes, he has. Oh, is he overshot? No. Yes, Albert's just managed to take P1, but now it looks like Williams got the toe off of Albert. So this is some pretty interesting racing here for the top two spots here at the moment. So we'll just jump over a second, change cameras. Oh, as they go too wide through the chicane, but Albert holds it still. He keeps P1. But it looks like Albert's managed to get a faster exit out of that corner. Very interesting how fast the Ferrari is here. So
he really starts to pull away.
He is. He sure is, isn't he? You know, he's got his setup very dialed in by the looks of it. You know, the speed out over the exits of the corners. So it looks like the AMG is just going to hope to claw it back on the straights in the slipstream and, as I said, get that toe.
Also, how you mentioned the screeching of the AMG's tyres, maybe a tyre wear issue in the rears for him, not just having that acceleration out of the corners with due to traction.
Yeah, possibly. So I don't think the HUD actually gives me their tyres. No, so unfortunately I can't see his tyres. looks like some interesting chat going on there in the in-game chat. So I don't know what's going on. So yeah, so Williams slowly closing that gap on the straights, but it just looks like Albert's just got a faster exit. He can get that power down a lot quicker, and he just starts to pull away. So yeah, it's interesting to see how Albert progresses later on through the race with 46 minutes to go. So we've got back to so we'll just jump back to Tony. He's in the AMG P3. Not got much going on around him at the moment. You know, 2 seconds. You know, Chris Oakley behind. He's 2.5 seconds behind, and he's 2.2 seconds behind William in P2.
Still very early days just yet, and you can see how Casten's really closed back up on the Ferrari now.
He sure has, hasn't he? Yeah. A quick look
I think he may have been biding his. I think Casten may be biding his time a little bit, saving the tyres, not stressing too much, then going for a big push for the pass.
He could well be. You say that. So we'll jump back on again now. So as they seem to be catching each other up again. So not much going on behind. It's quite a big gap from behind with P3 there. So Williams got nothing to worry about behind. So again, Albert's pulling away.
The gap seems to be very much ebbing and flowing at the moment.
It sure is, yeah. So it looks like the Mercedes has got the speed on the straights. Albert's obviously got that setup dialed in that he can get that power down very quickly and get the corner exits. That he's managing to.
Have been very strong.
Exactly, they sure have, haven't they? You know, it's where he's you know, gaining his time is and keeping that gap consistent.
And of course, these two very close in qualifying as well, less than a tenth splitting them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just like 9,000th of a second between them two. So it looks like I've had a couple of people drop out now. So it looks like Vicky's ended up having to drop out. I don't know what's happened to her. Maybe she's. So Freddie's in the pits. I don't know why Freddie's in the pits. I don't know what he's done. Did he crash or something? I'm not sure. So we've got James Butler. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what's going on there. Looks like we missed a few things. Whether he's had a bit of a crash and he's had to pit. But to join us...
Should we start working our way through the midfield and seeing how those inter-battles are going?
Yeah, we sure will, yeah. So... We've got Darius. He's pretty much lonely at the moment. 5 seconds in front. P5's in front of him and 6.6 seconds behind Fabian, who's P7. So not much going on there between these guys. We jump back to Fabian. So Fabian's not really got much going on behind him. So he's got Rafael, who's now leading the amateurs. But he was actually a guest driver.
Yeah, guest driver.
So yeah, so I think he's actually set up for a pro driver. If I just quickly check my list here. Oh no, Raphael's actually Raphael's actually in the poke in the amateur category. But he seems to be very strong here in Monza. So
BMW has very strong pace.
Yeah, exactly. But it's times at the Nürburgring is older, which I got all the guys to do to sort of put them into their categories. We're not as strong as what he is obviously here. So that's very interesting. So yeah, so he's actually the leader then for the amateur division. So it looks like P2 of the amateur division, which is Angelo. He's quite a way off. So there's not much competition going on between P1 of the amateur and P2. But like I said, we'll see how Raphael goes throughout the championship, and if he's leading by quite a big gap, then obviously we'll look to move him up to the pro category, where he'll have a bit more of a fight.
Yeah, competition is very much close and hard fought in the pro category at the moment.
Exactly. So just jump on with Christopher at the moment. There's not much going on at the top of the moment. There's 1.2 seconds gap between Albert and William at the moment. The only people that are close actually is Samir. So Samir and Chris. So Samir's slowly closing that gap. 1.8 seconds off of Chris, that's in P4.
I think everyone's really found their pace at the moment in the midfield, and those gaps are maintaining pretty
exactly. They're starting to settle in. So yeah, they're starting to settle in, into getting into their sort of pace, let's say, and starting to be a bit more consistent.
Should we venture back to the battle between Keston and Sultan? Has that been just simmering away at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see what's going on here. Andre, I mean, these are the guys that are closest at the moment. Again, there's like Smear and Chris, they're about 1 second behind it. Yeah, 1 second gap between them at the moment. So what's going on here with Curly? Not lots. So it looks like Freddie's back out the pits now. So he must have took some damage and had to pit, which has obviously cost him a lot of time. So we'll just quickly see where Freddie is then at the moment. So Freddie's P17, so he's P6 in his category at the moment. So yeah, he's 1 lap down, so he's got a lot of grounds to cover. So I mean, to be honest, the Porsche is actually quite a beast of a car to set up. All the weight of the engine in the back, right on the back there. So it looks like Freddie's actually getting blue flag there. So this is going to be interesting. So if I jump on with Chris a second, we take a P4. We just see how this goes with the blue flag. Now that obviously these front runners are obviously lapping Freddie. At the moment, it looks like the gap for P1 and P2 is increasing. At the moment, it's about 2 seconds. So he's slowly making the gap up there. Let's quickly jump to Raphael a second, because there was something. Looks like these guys are getting a bit close as well. So sorry, what happened to that Ferrari? Yeah, so yeah, we'll be having words with him, Vicky. I don't know, we caught that on there where he obviously overshot his braking zone and obviously went into the back of you, and you took a lot of damage there. So it's a bit of a shame, really. I mean, the main thing is, Vicky, I mean, you're in both championships. You're in Wednesday and Friday championship, so, hopefully you do a bit better in the Friday one. And hopefully after race one, once people start to get some penalty points, that they're sort of soon calm down and not be so aggressive. So, yeah, just a bit of a shame that was. So it looks like Chris and Samir overtook Freddie then, who's in the Porsche. He's actually one of the back markers now, due to his pit. So it's actually, just to go back to the Monza a few weeks ago when we were doing the test race, these guys their pace was so close together for P1 and P2. They were on each other's tails. Well, Samir was on Chris's tail pretty much the whole race, putting that pressure on, but Chris didn't sort of get flustered by the pressure at all. He just kept that pace going. you know, and obviously ends up taking the win. So with Jose, oh, looks like someone's outbroke themselves in the second chicane there. So Jose's P8 at the moment.
Nicely followed by Cooper in the BMW.
That's right, yeah. So James Butler. So looks like these are the guys that are pretty close to each other at the moment. We'll jump back to P1 for a minute and see how Albert's doing. So looks like he's got a 1.4 second lead now off of Willem. So his consistency is very strong. But these guys are still staying in the same sort of distance between each other. You know, the Ferrari's pulling away out the corners, but the AMG's obviously catching on the straights. Just jump back to Samir. So Samir's 1 second off Chris, who's in P4. Samir in P5. So what's your take on this at the moment then, Reese?
Well, just trying to keep up in the loop at the moment. I'm having some issues technically, but very, very close.
Yeah, so
The gap seems to have levelled out at the front.
Yeah, so Tony's here.
He's still got half an hour to go.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, for just 44 minutes. Tony's pretty much driving by himself at the moment. Chris is like 3 seconds behind for P4 there. But he's 5.6 seconds off of Willem, who's in P2. So the interesting thing is Samir's trying to keep that pressure on Chris here. So if these guys keep racing like they are, they should close that gap with Tony in P3. But it looks like these guys have actually managed to get their setups really dialed in some of these cars. Especially the Lambo likes to be a bit tail happy, the same as the Porsche. Samir going quite wide there. So how you get on, Reese?
Might have cost a little bit going into the second straight.
That's it. Did you manage to get into your broadcast in the spectator?
Yes and no. Just typing in the password now.
Nice. So James Butler P13, and we've got Angelo P12, who's the A dot. Again, I sort of asked these guys to give me both their first and last name, so they actually look proper on the grid, so we know who's who.
We got a question from the chat. Is there a mandatory pit stop in the championships?
No, there is not, because it's a 60-minute race. So, and because I can't force a mandatory pit stop at the moment, because the game's not allowing me to do that, we are just literally just running. You know, if the guys can actually race 60 minutes without a pit stop, then go for it, sort of thing. So this is where the Mercedes will need to sort of try and save fuel as well. So that's going to make it more interesting as well, with obviously Willem in P2. Because I believe from tests last time we did the test days here with the AMG, they sort of had to run a less aggressive engine map just to try and save fuel, because of the fuel tank wasn't enough to get them through the 60-minute race on engine map 1. So it looks like Samir has now managed to close that gap. So we're going to jump in. Oh, excuse my cameras. I was going to say, Samir's managed to close that gap. Got about 0.2 seconds into Chris there, but it looks like Chris managed to get a faster exit out of the corner and gain a bit more time.
Definitely, as I mentioned earlier, the Lamborghini is very quick through both of the Lesmos.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got Curly here, who's one of the back markers now. He's a lap behind in the amateur league. Getting blue flag, so it'll be interesting to see. Well, it looks like Curly's done very well there.
Stays out of the way.
Exactly, yeah, he's moved off the racing line and such to allow him to pass.
I think that shows the quality of racing in this lobby, not only from pace-wise but also racecraft.
Exactly, and that's it. And the more people we get like that, you know, joining our league, you know, the better the racing is going to be overall. So. And obviously we are looking to obviously do some driver training as well to help bring people up to scratch what we expect from them when they race in our league. Because obviously we don't like people just like dive bombing and doing silly things, which end up obviously wrecking people's races. You know, there's ways to race and, you know, overtake cleanly without, you know, having to make contact. So it looks like Chris has managed to get a bit of a better lead now. He's only 1 second up. So
yes, he got a very good exit out of the first chicane.
He sure did, didn't he? So, but we'll see. Samir seems to be a little bit quicker through this section.
Quite a lot of curb into the entry of the second chicane.
He did, yes. He might have lost a bit of time there by the looks of it. You know, a couple of attempts, but he's sort of fluctuating between 0.8. So yeah, he's down to 1 second now. Not as quick through here, but Chris has made a bit of a mistake, got a little bit wide there. Yeah, welcome mate to the chat. As I said, don't forget to obviously follow us guys on Twitch and like and subscribe on YouTube. As I said, I'm streaming to both platforms. And you've got me, Simon, who's commentating. I'm the founder of Redline. And we've got Reese, who's one of the stewards, who's commentating with us as well.
Making a guest appearance.
So if you just jump to 3-1 at the moment, see where we are now.
Gap
So it looks like the gap's
out to 1.7
seconds. Yeah, it's very interesting to see what's happening here at the moment. I'm just wondering whether it is a case that William might be just fuel saving at the moment, and then they might just give it his all later on. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens here.
Perhaps Sultan getting very good exits out of each of these traction zones.
Exactly, but the thing is, William's keeping up at the moment, so we'll see. I mean, it could all be strategy here, and William might end up, you know, if he's not already on engine map 1, he might end up putting it into engine map 1. But I don't know if I can get that detail from the HUD. Let me just try and bring up their HUD and see if I can get that information. I can see his engine map there now. But it's running quite high traction control there. So he's running 9 traction control on that. Yeah, it's a shame I can't see his engine map. Then we'd definitely know if he's actually fuel saving there. So just jump on to James, but there was a bit of action going on between these guys. James with Christopher behind in the GTR. So I find the GTR is a bit more of a stable car compared to the Porsche. So this is going to be interesting. It looks like we will get an overtake here in a minute. So Christopher's saying that I am here, poking his nose into his mirrors. So
Very much driving
he's
in
managed to
mirrors
take the
and goes
overtake
down
there.
the inside, launches one in.
He did, yeah, excellent. But the thing is, the blue flag was there, so maybe James got a bit confused there by the blue flag and allowed him to pass. And I think that was a bit of a mistake there because he didn't realise, so it was probably a bit... I bet he's kicking himself now to know that.
Yes, definitely.
So he's still be getting blue...
move by the Nissan.
Exactly, very optimistic, definitely. So...
We'll try and make a move back on him though. Through the toe, it's going to be neck and neck going against Parabolica.
It sure is, isn't it? So nice to have a bit of...
on the inside line, but that does concede. Looking for the toe into the first chicane. We'll have to see. He's still very close on the Nissan.
So I'll tell you what, we're trying to jump on board and just watch what's going on here from James's view. So
getting right up underneath that rear wing of the Nissan. We'll see if he pulls that and makes a move or keeps his patience.
yeah,
like he'll concede and just hold his patience.
he's playing it safe by the looks of it, which is probably a better thing than to try and go in too wide into this corner because they're both end up losing a lot of time from that. So, but it looks like the Nissan's managed to. Yeah, exactly. But it looks like the Nissan's managed to get a bit of a lead now.
Yeah, definitely, but not only has James got to worry about overtaking the Nissan ahead, there was also a Lamborghini behind, less than a second gap now. So he's got to be watching his mirrors and ahead.
Exactly, yeah. So that's Angelo that's in P13.
This is all for... This is for amateur lead by the looks of it now.
This is, yeah. So just jump on board with... Oh, when the camera picks up. A bit slow there. I'll just say that we are actually running the latest public beta version of ACC, which is 1.0.5. So yeah, it looks like there's still a few niggles that still need to be fixed.
As I put a query into the chat for you there,
Sorry?
I sent a query to the chat room at the moment.
Yes, you do, mate. You do that, yeah.
Okay.
And then you push F2 a couple of times till you get broadcast off for you to see.
Ah, thank you very much.
And then if you're running... So I'm just letting Reese know, because we were streaming through Discord for him to see the stream, so there's no latency issues. But Reese is just jumping into spectate. So I'm just going to give him a quick brief on how to use the keys without obviously using the broadcast API separately. So we'll just jump on with Tony for a minute to see how he's doing. So he's 3 seconds behind Chris is, and he's 8.8 seconds off of William at the moment. So these guys in P1, P2 are really taking a good lead here. So it looks like Albert is actually 2.8 seconds now ahead. And it looks like he's catching up with Curly in the McLaren. So yeah, Reese, if you so when you go in, oh, looks like Albert's made a big mistake.
Oh, is that
big mistake in the T1? Yeah, he's making a big. Was that Albert? No, who was that?
Oh no, that was,
they had the same livery there. That confused me. That looked like that was actually Albert who made the mistake, but I think that was actually the other guy that took out Vicky earlier on. So it looks like Samir and Chris are still fighting. Not much change between these guys. So Samir's managed to claim that bit of time back. He's now up to 0.7 behind rather than the 1 second he was behind a minute ago. So yeah, Reese, if you push, hold down shift and use the left and right arrow keys, that'll flick you between the cars if you're going to do it through the game. And F3 to change TV cameras, F6 for the onboards.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. We'll just have a look to see how we're doing here. So it looks like Christopher's.
3 second gaps.
Yeah, Christopher's now leading the amateurs with P10 at the moment. So we've had 6 people dropped out so far. So from obviously, you know, crashes and stuff like that they've obviously caused, or spinning out and crashing into barriers.
Yeah. 3 second gap now between Samir and Chris. We'll see if he makes his move or bides his time. Looks like he's maintaining a gap just to stay in the tow, but not.
Yeah, maybe he's just play it safe, be the one that pushes the pressure on, rather than have the pressure on him at the moment. Let me get back on board with Samir again.
Definitely, because if you are too close, there's always a chance of a mistake occurring or backing yourself up even, which causes an even bigger gap in the long run.
Exactly.
Especially with very long straights out of the corners here in Monza, can be very vital in the traction zone.
Exactly. So, and obviously you don't want to end up trying to overdrive the car either, especially with 20 minutes left of the race to go. You know, you start to overdrive the car, you know, your tyres and start to get hotter, and chances are you're going to end up making more mistakes and losing time. So it'd be interesting to see.
Samir, both in the Lamborghini and the Porsche, which can be very easy to overdrive. Very precise machinery. You have to be very precise with both cars.
Oh, and there we go. It looks like Chris has made a big mistake there. Yeah, just goes to show. Unfortunately, just a little mistake. And he ends up losing P4. Gives Samir P5 quite easily. So it gives, Samir P4 quite easily even. So now it's
proving my point a little bit.
Exactly. So it's quite nice we actually managed to capture that. So hopefully we just.
Was minor though, because he still only has a 4/10 gap to Samir, so he's still definitely in his tow. He's closing in now to Parabolica.
Exactly. Yeah. So this will be interesting. So we'll jump back on with Chris a second, and we'll jump on board with him just to see what happens.
We'll see if he gets.
He's definitely getting the tow here. You can see this. Look at the speed he's gaining from this.
Pulls up to the right.
He's got that there, hasn't he? So does he get outbroken? But no, and he's managed to take the position back. Very nice and clean there from those two. So they both obviously kept to their line. You know, no contact. Very nice overtake there by Chris. So this is a type of driving. Obviously, we obviously trying to promote here at Red Line. You know, that you don't need to be banger racing, hitting each other to make the overtakes. And it just goes to show that the level of professionalism between these guys, and their racing is absolutely spot on.
It's very much under the belief of firm but fair.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. With the guy in the points. I mean, like I've said to the guys, rather than just quitting, keep racing, because the chances are, you're still going to be in the points. So Samir's flashing his lights there. So I don't know whether he's actually seeing us on the stream, seeing that we're actually watching him, or whether he's just trying to say, "Chris, move over. I want to come through."
He's gone for a pull out.
He's gone, but Chris is obviously blocked. He did, yeah. He's saying, "Nope, you can stay behind me." But you see there, Chris has managed to get a faster exit out of that corner.
Yeah, so you noticed how I was mentioning earlier, if you run too close and the move doesn't stick, you can really concertina and back yourself up, as this proved now to a 7/10 gap between Samir and Chris.
That's it, yeah. So it just goes to show the pace of these guys. Like I said, Chris earlier on, he was P10 in the qualifying. Couldn't get the times down, but it just goes to show that just because he didn't have the fastest lap, he's managed to get himself up to P4, and he's being very consistent. So, as I say, it can be anyone's race. And obviously as they... Yeah, like I said, they've been driving very consistent, haven't they? So, obviously Chris has just made a couple of little silly mistakes, but, lost the position, then a lap later he managed to get it back. So
he really managed to redeem himself.
Exactly. So we've got Curly here just in front of Chris, who's the amateur. Oh, it looks like Samir's managed to take an awesome overtake there. Absolutely brilliant overtake there. So Chris is obviously flashing Curly to say, look, you know, blue flag, get out of the way. You know, you've made me lose his position here as he was slowing down. But Samir took advantage of that. It's like, nope, I'm taking this.
I think there was a bit of a mistake going in for Chris going into the second chicane as the right section of the chicane was very difficult. It was very slow out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, you know, Samir took advantage of that straight away and thought, yep, I'm taking that.
There is still a lot of potential here, though. He's still within a second.
Yeah,
it looks like he's just catching his toe.
Exactly. Chris making a bit of a mistake there. He went quite wide. So, well, Chris is going to get the toe, like I said, on the home straight. So we'll jump back on board with him.
And the Lamborghini being very suited to this track, very agile through the Lesmos, and you noticed how the Lamborghini took a much tighter line on the exit apex of the corner, which has given him this great exit onto the main straight, closing from 0.8 to 0.4 gap now.
You see that, yeah, it's a T1, yeah, exactly, yeah, very, very, you can see the speed difference there. Oh no, Chris has made a little bit of a mistake there. So the gap's opened up a little bit more with Samir, but looking at Chris, he will obviously try and put himself back together now and try and gain that time lost, because Samir is now nearly 1 second off.
I think that really shows the differences between these cars, both very strong in a straight line, but however the middle speed and relatively high speed corners the Lamborghini really excels with. During those traction zones and the all important first and second chicane, the Porsche really comes into its own.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Vicky. You know, you should have stayed in there, because chances are you would have still managed to get some good points, you know. But I don't understand what happened with the pit with you. Yeah, maybe that's just an error with, I don't know if you're running the latest beta or you're still on the official release 104. I don't know, so I mean, if that is off the beta, then it's worth reporting to the dev that's in our group. So obviously they're aware of it.
If you just take a look down in 7th and 8th position, the Lexus of Schmidberger and the Lamborghini of Yamas fighting quite hard at the moment through Ascari.
Alright, let's jump back down and see these guys, yep.
Both in 7th and 8th position now, the Lamborghini really making up ground through that toe.
Exactly, so we'll jump on board here and just see what happens here with Jose. Yeah.
Right under the rear wing of that Lexus, then maybe potential for a pass on the straight or into the braking zone.
He's getting the toe already, so chances are he's going to get it.
Out now.
He's pulled out, exactly.
Quite a high chance of him getting past here, but the Lexus can redeem itself into the braking zone, very strong on the brakes. Ooh, very clean and controlled by Yamas going past them.
Exactly, yeah. Absolutely well done. This is what I mean. This is the sort of level of racing, you know, we're trying to promote here, so the red line. So, you know, there's ways of overtaking cleanly, you know, without having a dive bomb. So it looks like the pressure's back on. So I'll say that's still 0.8 or 0.8 between Samir and Chris. Down to
we'll have to see those vital corners for the Lamborghini in Ascari and the Parabolica to see if he makes up any ground here.
Exactly, yeah. Just see, it's a raw Authentics P14, so it looks like he's one of the last pros, one of the back marks of the pros there.
Lamborghini took a much tighter line through Parabolica, and gap is now down to 0.5, and this is where the toe really starts to have a strong, profound effect down the straight.
I've head back to Fabian.
Looks like Looks like he's not going to be close enough though.
No, looks like it. Oh, Fabian having a little bit of a moment there with the rear end. But he manages to catch it and keep control of the Lexus. But that's just giving Jose a bit more of a gap there.
I think the best thing he has to do is just really recompose himself after that overtake and just reset, get back in the rhythm.
Exactly, yeah. You're a noob, are you? That's where you joined. Oh, fair enough, yeah. Well, like I said, you know, we're running with practice sessions with a trainer to help you guys obviously improve. And obviously with our stewarding system, we're trying to promote clean racing and, you know, have quite strict rules with the penalty systems to obviously tame you guys from being too aggressive. Yeah, and the curves as well, Vicky, I'd say. Stay away from the curves and the grass, definitely.
If I can just distract you back to 4th and 5th position.
Yeah, I've just jumped in. Yeah, it looks like Chris has just managed.
Made an error out of a Ascari, went very wide, and Chris was right there to capitalise.
Nice, so yeah, it's a pretty good battle between Chris and Samir here. So I said these guys were ones to watch at the very start of the race. So it just goes to show the pressure that they're both on, you know, trying to keep their consistency up.
Very much back and forth from both of these drivers, but we'll have to see how the gap is after the first chicane. The Porsche are very strong in the traction zones.
Exactly, yeah. So he's got his setup very dialed in. So it takes a bit of the sausage curve, so it doesn't get as good an exit as he was hoping by the looks of it.
No, just took a little bit too much. That's hindered him slightly. The gap doesn't appear to be increasing. Lost maybe a 10th at most, but still right on the tail of Chris.
That's it. So just jump into P1. We haven't seen much of Albert lately, but he has got a massive lead now of P2, 7.6 seconds ahead. So quite an impressive lead there. So William in the Mercedes. Got really not much to worry about behind because P3 is 8 seconds behind him. So it looks like these guys are going to be running the last sort of 10 minutes or just over 9 minutes of the race. Pretty much alone unless something drastic happens. Not that I'm obviously cursing anyone.
I think this shows how consistency and corner exits really do make you flourish here.
So I just jumped over to James Butler, P11. And Chris. Oh no, is it Angelo? Angelo, I think. Angelo's behind, isn't it? No, Angelo's there.
2.7 seconds behind James.
So we haven't seen much of Jake actually, Jake Boswell, so just stick with him for a little bit because we haven't really captured much of him. So he's been very consistent. So he started P25 I believe, and he's now up to P8. So yeah, he's done very well to get this position. But as I said, you know, from a few drivers there obviously, you know, made mistakes, you know, crashes and a few obviously game errors. You know, a few people have obviously had to retire, but it just goes to show that, you know, if you try and stay with it, even if you do make a small mistake, you know, you still be in the points.
I think this shows how well. I think it's almost a textbook example of running your own race, just keeping in that rhythm. He's been not necessarily a lot quicker than the people in front, but he's just been chipping away at that gap each lap.
Exactly, yeah. So again, Aaron's another one. We've not really captured much footage of him at the moment. So he's actually Australian, and he's in the Aston. So he's actually one of the reserves who's actually just filling in for a couple of the championship drivers that can't make it tonight. But he seems to be doing pretty well. He's got Samir and Chris behind, just overtaking him there. So we just jump back on with these guys as the battle's still going on between these guys. You know, it's just literally the last 7 minutes now. I think they're just going to try and like push.
I think this might be a real one to watch going into this corner. The Lamborghini quite squirrely out, but Porsche didn't have the best of exits.
Exactly. So we jump on board, but it looks like he's a bit far away for the slipstream. But whether I mean with the bigger gap, hopefully he can get on the brakes a little bit later.
Still
he's if you look at that, he was, as I say, he was very late on the brakes there. You know, he started braking at about the 125 metre marker. You know, where most other cars sort of brake around the 150. So very quick through T1.
Important to note that the Porsche was actually 0.5 quicker that lap. So the pace really is there for the Porsche. It's just a matter of getting past Chris, who does fight exceptionally well.
Exactly, yeah. So this is Orpheus Bad Moon. Again, he's another guest driver today. Well, he's one of the reserves. I said he's filled in as a guest driver, hoping that he can get a place in the championship. Exactly, Ricky. Yeah.
The best race at the moment.
No, exactly. He's not having the best race at the moment, but to be honest, like I say, he's a guest driver, so he's not really in for the points. You know, if anything, it's just a bit of experience for him. And hopefully, if a gap does open up in the championship, he can take a place and start gaining some points.
I think an achievement in itself is just running your own race and finishing at Monza.
That is it, yeah.
Good to see that the Lamborghini of Chris returned the favour and was 0.5 quicker than the Porsche that lap. Gap now extended to 1.5 seconds. Porsche really slipping back at the moment.
Wow. So yeah, so Samir is obviously making a few silly mistakes there and losing a lot of critical time. To be honest, I have noticed this in the later races with Samir that when he's trying to, you know, he starts to overdrive the car and starting to make subtle mistakes, you know, which costs him, you know, those valuable temps that he's gained. So you see that with him. He will. I'm just watching James here at the moment, P10, because the guy behind, he should be getting blue flagged here, James. So James should be letting him pass in a minute.
Just to mention something I've observed between the battle between Chris and Samir still is he's been holding that gap of roughly 1 second, but he's just been going slightly wider than the Lamborghini.
Yeah, just to say one of the let's see, was that Jake? It wasn't Jake. Someone in the Lexus made a big mistake then. And ended up crashing into the barrier, coming back across the track, but lucky enough it didn't take anyone out, so didn't catch to see who that was then in the Lexus. Was it Bad Moon?
Was that Bad Moon?
I think it might have been Bad Moon actually, I don't know.
I think it was, because coming out of Ascari, Chris and Samir had to take a little bit of evasive action.
Yeah, so maybe that was what it then. So we have Jose P6 and Darius and the Porsche behind. So we've pretty much got the similar sort of scenario here with the Lambo and Porsche, as the same with Samir and Chris are in P5 and the Lamborghini, with Samir and Chris. So very same similar scenario.
Yama seemed to be a lot later on the brakes, or at least Darius braking a lot earlier, because the gap opened up all the way to 2.5 seconds out of the first chicane.
Yeah, so there must have been a bit of a mistake there. So it looks like Samir is now 1.8 seconds off of Chris. 1.6 now. A little bit quicker out there, so he's managed to gain a couple of tenths. But this is what I found with Samir, is he closes that gap and then he makes a couple of mistakes and sort of drops off, and then he'll build it back up again. It just seems like whether he just overdrives the car and just makes a few mistakes, you know, but again he stays within that sort of like time frame, you know, of trying to stay within that sort of like 0.5 to 1 second gap.
You can tell at the moment, especially in the within the last 10 minutes sprint or so, that Samir's been driving very desperately, really late on the brakes. The car's been plunging forward, taking a lot of curb, just really almost unsettling the car, and that's what's really increased the gap, just taking that bit too much curb that just slows you down.
That's it. So yeah, with Raw Fentic at P14, using the Porsche, he's got Jerome just in front there, who's in the Audi, so a little bit closer together. About a 1 second gap between them at the moment.
About that, we'll have to see the exit of each car through Parabolica, how that dictates that fight.
Yeah, so this Andrea, he was one of the guest drivers who caused the crash earlier with Vicky. So we will be having words with him because you know, that's ruined a couple of people's races. This is why I'm a bit reluctant bringing guest drivers into a championship if they obviously you know, ruin the main people that are actually taking part in the championships races.
I think the best way to put it for the moment is that we'll review both sides and make a verdict come post-race.
Exactly, yeah.
Leaders on final lap.
So leaders on the final lap.
Yeah, Chris has really opened the gap.
Chris has just made a big mistake. So that was James Butler in the Porsche made a big mistake there, lost the position, straight into the wall, and that looks like it's game over for him.
With a lot of very high up placed cars now coming through.
So he's had to retire to the pits. So we'll stay with see what's happening with Chris and Samir.
Chris has closed up the gap to Ribiejo in front to 2 seconds now. The gap between Chris and Samir is fallen back to over 6.5 seconds now.
No, that seems to be
7 now.
There's a bigger gap. Yeah, it's going back. Yeah. So what happened to Samir? Did he make a big mistake, or was it a case of?
I think he may have had a I think he may have had a moment coming out of one of the corners, and he's just backed off and admitted defeat here. Chris won't be admitted defeat to Ribiejo in front. He's really going to fight for that third place. See if he can get on the podium today.
Yeah, it looked like he did, but yeah, wheel issue. Maybe, yeah, it could well be a wheel issue or something that's very strange. Or we could have got, I would say disconnect, but he wouldn't have got disconnected and head back to pit. He would have just disappeared.
I believe the Porsche you guys saw on the start-finish straight was actually James Butler and not Samir.
Yeah, no, it was James Butler. Yeah, that had the crash into the wall. Yeah, and then retired to pits.
Samir really falling back now, 11 seconds.
That's it. So here's Albert coming for the win. So Albert takes P1.
Good, consistent, fast drive all around from Albert.
He sure was. And here's William for P2. Congratulations.
Very strong drive.
Tony's managed coming in for P3. So Chris is only a second behind him for P4.
Only 0.9.
So Chris has just made, Chris has just made the gap.
There was a couple more laps. Maybe I think Chris was, because he went over the line a second quicker that lap than Tony in front.
He sure did, yeah. So this looks like the overall scoreboard now. Yeah, very good race that was. Shame for a few little mistakes on lap 1 T1 there with who was it that actually ended up crashing, who ended up taking the place then? Do you remember who that was, Reese?
I am not sure. Crashing when?
Lap 1 T1, when he came into, he was doing really well in the qualifying, didn't he?
That was one of the Lamborghinis.
It was, yeah.
I believe that might have been Yamas actually. I should just have a look because it was one of the Daiko Lazarus cars. I think it was Yamas who came back up to sixth. So good.
No, Yamas
Good recovery drive from him.
So there we are. Yeah, very good race. Unfortunately, you know, there was a few people's races ruined earlier on. But yeah, from that, like I said, the guys obviously need to get some timestamps in so we can review obviously any instances and obviously give the penalty points to the guys that has obviously caused a few problems there. But otherwise, yeah, generally that was a really good race. We had some pretty good battles there, right across the field really. You know, it wasn't just a case of just P1, P2 the whole time. We had, you know, quite good battles right across the grid.
Nice.
So yeah, very interesting. So anyway, so that's yeah, exactly. So that was round 1 of Monza for our Wednesday ACC Championship. We're back Friday with Monza again, but with a different group because I'm running 2 championships on a Wednesday and a Friday in ACC. Because we've got literally 80 drivers signed up to both races at the moment, including the reserves. So I've had to obviously make 2 championships to obviously occupy them all. But yeah, hopefully, anyway, we'll be back Friday with Monza again, and we will see you guys again soon. Well, thanks for watching, and obviously don't forget to obviously follow, like and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, and we'll see you again soon. Anyway, this is a broadcast from Simon and Reese, so cheers.
Thank you very much for watching.